So, just to go through a little bit of background about myself and some of my experiences. As I mentioned, I was the founding director of the Serious Games Institute, and what you can see there is an image that we made that shows how we combine the real and virtual worlds. So on the left-hand side, you've got the real me in a virtual world, and on the right-hand side, you've got the virtual me, the second life me, in the real world. So the photograph on the right is actually from the Serious Games Institute. The photograph on the left is the model that we made in Second Life. Today, and one of the reasons why I'm here talking about health and well-being, I don't have a medical background, but I was one of the people invited to the launch of the International Society of Digital Medicine in China last year, and they appointed me as president of the European chapter. So I'm building on my existing knowledge with a wide network of people who are working with digital technologies in all aspects of health, well-being, medicine, surgery, the whole area of it. So it's some absolutely fascinating work. Myself, the thing that really gets me up in the morning and the thing that really I feel passionate about is how technology has shaped all of our lives, both in terms of opportunities and challenges. This is my book. It's called Gadgets to God. It's not a religious book in any way, but essentially what it's saying was that in the year that I was born, 1949, I lived in a world where there weren't computers, not many people had cars, we didn't have a telephone, and we were using as a society our human intelligence to get the best out of machines. And this is the reason why on the picture there you see me driving a steam train. Because that's how it was. People were trained for years to be able to control machines. Today, we've already got to the point where machines and artificial intelligence are using its intelligence and experience and knowledge to get the best out of human beings. And that has significant implications that we're not aware of. A couple of things briefly that influenced me and my passion for technology and society. Anybody know who the person is on the far side of the screen? Anybody know who he is? He's someone who had an enormous impact on society, and he was someone who was able to harness technology of his day to make a fundamental change in society. It's a guy called Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook invented the traveller's check, and he was responsible for the travel industry that we know today. And he inspired me because he was actually working in the town where I was living when he had the brilliant idea or the revelation that led to the travel industry. And what it was simply was that he had a passion for trying to persuade people not to drink. And he used to go to meetings all over the place. He used to walk miles and miles. He was walking to a meeting one day in Leicester. He stopped for a rest and he had this inspiration that he could harness the power of the communications technology of his day, which was the railways, to the benefit of society. And the argument that he made was, if I can make it possible, affordable and accessible for ordinary people to go to new places and have new experience, they won't be interested in drinking. That was his philosophy. And that's what drove him. And so with the very first excursion, a train trip for 12 miles, 600 people, had a big party, temperance party, and they listened to speeches, and that was the birth of the travel industry we know today. Ironically, of course, today, the travel industry is probably responsible for a lot of alcohol consumption, and I include myself in that, but it was a big influence. The other big influence on the other side of the screen, I'll tell you very briefly what the story that is. You won't know this guy now, but he's a guy called Frank Bingley. And in 1998, my company won an award under something called the Multimedia Demonstrator Program, which was designed to help small businesses adopt internet multimedia. And the reason why I did it was because I was a high-tech company working in a rural village, doing business all over the world, But the companies in my town didn't know about me. They were doing business in the big cities because they didn't think that a little company on their doorstep could do what they wanted to do. So that was my motivation. I got the funding, so the first thing I did was to try and build a network of people using technology creatively in my community. And I did a search on the web. It was before Google, so Alta Vista and the search engines of the day, and I found this website called Big Fern. And to my surprise, somebody in my community had already done 50% of what I just got the money to do. There was this website that did many of the things that we planned to do, and what was worse for me as a multimedia company was whoever designed this website was better than us, and they were on our doorstep, so I got a competitor I didn't know about. Anyway, I thought it was a big world, so I sent an email to the webmaster, would you come and see me? This is a guy who turned up in my office one Friday afternoon, and he said to me, I said to him, I know your face from somewhere. He said, oh, how do I know you? I said, of course you know me, I'm your milkman. Right? This was the guy who delivered my milk every morning. He built his own computer, he taught himself to write HTML, and he built this fantastic website, all self-taught, no university education. And this is what opened my eyes to the power of enabling technologies. An ordinary guy with no real education and a job that had no relevance to technology was teaching me, who spent my whole career in technology, a lesson on how to use technology effectively. And I thought originally this guy was on a different planet. You know, why was he in my community? But I discovered in every community there are people like Frank Bingley. And when we're looking at trying to build a future, I think one of the greatest gifts that technology has brought us is it's got a democratizing effect. It empowers ordinary individuals to do extraordinary things.